Ladies and gentlemen, I've been investing with both Fidelity and Robinhood for over 6 years. So it's safe to say that I've seen the good and the bad, and I know pretty much everything that there is to in a comparison of both of these brokers. Many of you are looking for the best broker to put your money into. I decided today to compare them on the top 4 biggest concerns that people look at when choosing a broker and grading them to come out and reveal for you who is once and for all the best broker at this time. They both have strengths and weaknesses, but we're gonna look specifically at 4 different categories. Category 1, safety. Basically, do you feel secure investing your money? What are the weird risks and potential worst case scenarios that could happen? And how would the brokerages respond to that for you? 2, user interface and actual enjoyability of using these services. What can you do? How quickly can you do it? How does it feel when you're on both platforms? How complicated is it? Category 3, this is a big one. Investment and trading experience. What type of research can you get to? What type of experience trading and actually going through to pick the best investments can both these brokerages provide for you? And finally, category 4, one I did not think that I would be talking about just a few years ago, but crypto. Where are both these guys at on crypto and how do they stack up in the market today? We're gonna grade them kind of in a letter-based grade. So you'll see, just like a school report card at the very end, who gets what grade, and then who is the best broker to use right now. This is a super interesting and useful video for a lot of you out there. I can't wait to share it. So let's get right into it. Okay, category 1, safety. How secure are both of these brokerages, and what is the chance that either of them could fail? And if they did, what would happen? Well, I've got some really interesting answers. Let's start with Fidelity for every comparison that we'll do, including safety. Fidelity is FDIC and SPIC insured. That essentially means that for cash that you hold in your account or stocks that you've bought, you're going to be reimbursed up to $250,000 by the federal government, the United States government, if anything were to happen to your money. Now, that is not including, obviously, investment losses, but if something were to happen to Fidelity where it would fail, they would go down, just a catastrophic scenario, $250,000, the US government, they got you. Beyond this, Fidelity's actually contracted and purchased an insurance policy with a company called Lloyd's of London, and they'll reimburse you even further. The Lloyd's of London policy states that they provide excess coverage up to $1 billion for Fidelity customers. There's no individual cap either on how many assets you could get reduced above and beyond the $250,000 that the US government will provide. Up to $1 billion, of course, for the aggregate. Now, this is a good starting point. Let's see what Robinhood did. Robinhood has a lot of the same basic security steps on their platform to make sure you're the only one logging in. They match Fidelity with 2-factor authentication. They have a Face ID scanner for their app, all the basics that you would expect, and they're good to go there. You should feel very confident using both. They are also backed by the federal government up to $250,000. Anything more than that, they've contracted with the same insurance company, Lloyd's of London, although their policy is a tad bit smaller. That policy for Robinhood covers an aggregate of up to $100 million, and each customer would be limited to a reimbursement of $10.5. So, what actually happens if one of these companies fail? First of all, let me preface and give a disclaimer. This is super unlikely. We've had some bank failures recently, and a cryptocurrency brokerage has failed, but for Fidelity and Robinhood, it's very, very unlikely that either of them could go under. But what if they did? What would actually happen? Well, there are 2 things you'd see. First of all, both companies would likely file for Chapter 11 bankruptcy, which actually gives them a second chance and the ability to stay open while they try to create a new business plan and get themselves back to being profitable. You would know this and see this and would have a lot of time to move your assets if you really felt that you needed to and wanted to. If that didn't work and they truly did go out of business, they had to lay everyone off, close the doors, and sell everything, your assets would be transferred to another brokerage. The government would help out in this process. You'd be notified as to what brokerage they would go to, get contact information there, and you'd basically be able to control your stocks and securities and your cash with another company. So in the worst case scenario, there is an exit plan, the government has backing, and both of these companies provide additional insurance up to some amount to protect you. They're both top notch, and you shouldn't fear either on the category of safety. So a simple rating that's easy to give out for both Robinhood and Fidelity is 2 A grades for both. Let's go on to category 2. This is where we're going to start to see a little bit of separation, ease of use and interface. Starting with Fidelity, Fidelity is built for information. You're going to see this in all the clips that I show today. Fidelity is totally about providing as many number points to you and getting them in front of your face as possible. And for some investors, this is great. For some, it's not. But you're going to be hit with a ton when you go onto Fidelity, tabs and options, and this can be very powerful. But there are certain landing pages that are very important. The big one for you is going to be positions. I call this one of their base pages, and your positions tab is also filled with a lot of data, and it has a very corporate and spreadsheety feel to it. Now, I don't have a lot of stock positions open at the moment on Fidelity. I just have 2 I'm keeping my money in. But when this page is filled and populated, you'll see a lot of red and green based on whether it's up and down. But for the most part, it's just a lot of data points and columns that you can sort for yourself. The app has made a lot of progress, but still mirrors the desktop version. Overall, for Fidelity, I'd like to see better ways to access the 52-week chart. I'd like to be able to see how the stock has progressed over a period of time without having to go through too many pages to actually see at a glance how different stocks are performing. Sometimes the numbers by themselves, they don't provide a lot of context in a short glance. So how does Robinhood perform on the other side of this? Robinhood took a totally different user experience approach and is basically a platform built around how easy it is to go through and flow from one page to another on their mobile app. It is a smooth Face ID process that takes you to a main landing page with your stocks, and right away you see a big chart telling you how your portfolio is doing. It takes just a button push to go back and zoom out 3 months or up to 5 years to see how you've been doing in the long run. The interface with your overall performance glides right into showing how your stocks are doing. With just a tap, you can see your individual stocks and your different holdings and whether they've been up or down over the last week, month, year, 5 years, anything. It's awesome to see how your positions are doing at just a quick glance. These pages all go right into purchasing, and purchasing is just as smooth as using the rest of the app. It's super easy. Punch in how many shares you want. It gives you a total calculated price, shows you how much money you have to work with, and you just have to swipe and you're through. It is one of the smoothest business apps, if not the very smoothest I've ever used on the internet. You guys can tell that I feel that Robinhood is the gold standard for stock and investing apps, at least for user interface. That's why when it comes down to grades, Fidelity, I'm giving a B- to for some of its weaknesses in too much information than you need, and Robinhood giving an A in the user interface category. Before we look at category 3, research and trading, if this video is helping you out or you like it in any way, consider tapping the like button. It's free, it doesn't cost anything, and it really helps spread the video to more people who find it useful. All right, let's compare Fidelity versus Robinhood on research and trading, what they can provide for you as an investor. We're going to focus on the 2 most important places for research and actual investing on Fidelity. First one being the individual stock pages. These stock pages are packed with just an incredible amount of information. Fidelity takes great care in providing basically all of the tools that you could possibly want to find out details about companies that you want to invest in so you can feel confident in your choices. This is going to range from advanced charting to a dividend page to summary of projections from experts weighed by their past successes, which is an incredible metric to start with, dividends, etc. Everything you need all in one place. My favorite section of anything that they provide are the research reports. They basically take hedge funds and investment firms that have teams of people all dedicated to focus on just a company or a handful of companies and provide to you their investment reports free of charge. You can read these and literally become an expert on the insides of a business in a pretty easy to read format, just with 3 or 4 pages of a PDF that's updated regularly by the experts. It's incredible information, and it feels like it should be given to you maybe at a paywall of like $100 or $150 a month, but they provide it completely for free in the research section for you just for having an account. Now, the second area on Fidelity that you're really going to use to find investments is the Fidelity Stock Screener. This is packed with every potential filter that you could narrow down to find any category of stock and locate the exact company you're thinking based on the criteria you want to invest in. You can look through industry, company size, growth or dividend focus, financial health, and even find companies that just fit your kind of stock that you like. And say you're totally out of ideas, they will provide a list of expert recommendations right there for you that other people have analyzed and believe are going to perform well in the future. So you can find out pretty much as you would ever want to know, and maybe more, on any stock or ETF from Fidelity. Let's see how Robinhood does this on their side. So we know Robinhood's trading platform is built for feel. It's very slick, it's awesome to use, it's fast, but how does it stack up from an investing standpoint? To find Robinhood's charting, we're running into troubles early on when it's difficult to even get into the chart and actually gain anything useful from what you see. If you look deeper, Robinhood has a few indicators that you can customize. They give you access to 6 popular trading indicators to put on their chart. It's a little bit difficult to use, and I personally wouldn't want to use it regularly to make day trades or any sort of actual investments based on the metrics that you can only see on your phone. They provide 6 indicators, whereas Fidelity provides, I think, over 100 different things you can look at. But Fidelity's is a lot more intuitive, scientific in how you can see it. You can really get a clearer picture for how a stock is performing than what Robinhood's got set up themselves. You're definitely limited in chart analysis here. So Robinhood also has a place that compares to Fidelity's for finding new investment ideas. They kind of gamify it and put little icons beside each category. And they have some categories, but they don't have every category that you'd want. I don't know how they chose which categories to show, but you go through the search menu and you click through one and you're hit with a list of basically the more popular companies in any given industry. Now you can expand that list to see them all. Sometimes it's potentially hundreds and hundreds of companies, but there's no good way to filter them or go beyond your generic search of looking in, say, tech or energy. And once you get there, you would have to tap on every single page to narrow it down and do the research yourself to see what or why you may want to buy something in the sector. It's really difficult to get anywhere there, and you're probably going to miss out on a lot of good opportunities just because they're completely hidden in the Robinhood app. And finally, since Fidelity had such a good research option, let's see what Robinhood has. Robinhood's is disappointing. They do give you access to Morningstar with a 30-day free trial, but you've got to pay for it after that, and it's really only one site. They do provide news articles that are linked to the stocks that you could click on, but they're just more generic headlines and kind of keeping up to date with what's going on with the company, which is good to know, but if you're really seriously investing or putting a lot of money into something, you don't get the high-level research reports that Fidelity or some of the other sites out there will give away for free. So, my personal recommendation to you is if you decide to use Robinhood, go ahead. It's a great platform, but get yourself access to another place to do your investments, look at charts, and find the research before you actually purchase on the Robinhood brokerage. Here's my final grades. Fidelity knocks it out of the park and comes back with a big A grade in this category. For investments and trading, Fidelity, they do really underwhelm. I don't know if they're trying to be good at this or not, but they're certainly not yet. I'm gonna give them a D. Okay, the last category here, crypto. Let's look to see what Fidelity and Robinhood can provide. Fidelity actually introduced their own crypto platform while I was researching and making this very video for you guys. So we're gonna do a test run and see how Fidelity Crypto stacks up after their new rollout. First of all, the service is all mobile. You can't access it from a desktop, they'll direct you right to your phone. Once you get inside, it's interesting. You can tell it's been just rolled out. They've got some educational pieces and their classic customary 24/7 support, which Fidelity is kind of known for. you can access that and get your questions answered by a real person at any time, which is always very appreciated. To use Fidelity Crypto, you've got to open a separate account within Fidelity. They'll walk you through the steps. It takes about 2 minutes, but strangely, you can't have your same brokerage account that you already have. You kind of have to open a joint one alongside. Now, Fidelity Crypto is a big letdown once you get inside. You can purchase just 2 coins, Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are the 2 biggest coins by market cap, and they trade like stocks. The page isn't super intuitive. The graph looks like the Robinhood charts that I was just ripping on in the previous comparison, and you're limited to only having a custodial account. So you'll buy them like stocks. Fidelity will actually hold the crypto for you, but show you and give you the value as it goes up and down. So you cannot take it off the platform. All this is to say, Fidelity has just entered the game, but there is a long way to go. Now let's look at Robinhood, which has been in the crypto game for a much longer time. Robinhood Crypto is doing better right off the bat. You can invest in 18 different cryptocurrencies, ranging from the big ones all the way to Dogecoin, if you feel like it. Now, Robinhood is unique because it allows you to send money on and off the app. You can take your crypto off of Robinhood, and they've got a process that allows you to do that. Robinhood also has a cool feature that they really prioritize and value education. So you'll learn about the different ways that blockchain works and understanding crypto fundamentals, and they'll reward you with free cryptocurrency that kind of pulls you in, but also gives you a knowledge of the cryptocurrency that you're given for free. It's small dollar amounts, usually around $1 US, but it's still awesome and a way to get new people into cryptocurrency. Robinhood links news articles about the cryptocurrency coins to their platform, but you should still do most of your big research about how these coins work off the site and use Robinhood to purchase. Robinhood has better features, more coins, and they're doing just better overall with crypto than Fidelity, but they've also been in the game longer. But the grades are based on where these brokerages are at right now. Fidelity earns a D in the crypto section. There's just not a lot there. Now, Robinhood, on the other side, it's not as good as some of the other apps out there for trading crypto, but it's got all the basics you need. So it deserves a solid B in the crypto category. Now, that was a huge comparison, and I hope that helped you learn and compare head to head about some of the most important features when picking a brokerage. I know you want to see the winners, so I'll throw the grades for every category up on the screen. And if we're grading this like a report card, Fidelity actually comes in with a B- and a 2.93 GPA, which isn't bad, but Robinhood comes out with a solid B with only one very poor category in research and trading. Essentially, this brings me to the point that these brokerages are very close. I want to emphasize that both are extremely safe, so it comes down to personal preference. Do you enjoy like the slick, fast interface where you can trade or place orders on your phone and just forget about it? Or do you want to dive really deep in, use this extensive platform with tons of research, all the statistics you could ever want, and have it all in one place? Well, then Fidelity is your broker. If you guys are considering signing up for Robinhood to help support the channel, I've got an affiliate link down in the description. If not, that's totally fine. Thank you for liking the video and subscribing to the channel if you want to see more. We'll catch you in the next video. Have a great one.